Welcome to Queer Next, the podcast that puts the yeehaw in y'all means all. I'm your host, Beck.
And I am your host, Dash. Welcome to today's episode.
I am surrounded by cats. Like, I don't even know where they all were 5 minutes ago. And now that we're recording, they're staring at me.
Is it lunchtime?
In half an hour. And I know they don't know the difference, right? What's a half hour to a cat?
Oh, no, they know the difference. For sure. When we had the time change, baby knew. She knew.
Well, and this is their first year. It's not their first winter here, but like last winter we lived in the dorm and there wasn't a lot of light. And here it's like we have a ton of natural light in the house here. And so the sun sets at like 3:45, and that's new for them. They've never lived anywhere that it was quite that extreme. So yeah, anytime it's basically we get up on noon, they're like, it could be dinner time. It could be tomorrow. We don't know. It's going to take your word for it that everything's okay. Like, time's not real.
It's all an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's real is back pain, my friend.
Oh, Lord, let me tell you about that. The doctor prescribed me warm liquids and walks. So I'm a 80-year-old man, basically. Because they intubated me twice. The first time they fucked it up. And then the surgery itself, they went in through my neck. So it all just hurts like hell in there. And she was like, yeah, like alternate heat and ice on the outside and just have hot liquids all the time. And I was like, well, so you're saying drink coffee all day. All right. She's like, that is not what I said. I did not say to mainline caffeine all the time. So I had to do something that I have not done. I'm not going to say I've never owned before, but like it's been a long time. Like I don't remember the last time decaffeinated coffee grounds crossed my door. What's it called? Door frame. Crossed my. What is that called? What's the name of? Doorstep.
Threshold. Threshold.
Yeah, threshold. Anyway, so I had to buy some of that stuff, and I still don't like the taste of it. I know it could be made up, right? It could not be real, but I swear I can taste the difference between decaffeinated and regular coffee.
I'm sure there is a difference. I wish I liked coffee. It's just not in the cards for me. I went to Flatlands in BG and they told me, the guy was like, I'm going to make you drink coffee. And I was like, you can try. And so like the first thing he tried, I was like, it was like very light, like no coffee in it. And I was like, this is disgusting. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. I told you I don't like coffee.
You can go too light with it where you're just basically drinking kind of dirty hot water. And that's not going to be... I don't know that that's really showcasing the best that coffee has to offer. But I do, like, sympathize with... You know, somebody says, like, have hot drinks all day long and you're a coffee drinker. Great. But no, you physically cannot drink coffee all day long. You have to... There's got to be something else, and I don't like anything else.
Hot chocolate?
No, not hot chocolate. Not tea. I don't really like tea. Like...
Me either.
To drink tea, I have to put milk and sugar in it, and then it becomes something that's really unhealthy to have all day. So that's not what they mean either.
There's always apple cider, hot apple cider.
Yeah, I haven't tried that one yet. That's true.
You can get a boxed mix. It's like an instant packet.
What does it taste like?
It's good.
Is it sweet or is it dry?
It's sweet.
Okay. I like malted milk, but I've only ever had it cold, like with ice cream, you know, like a malt that way.
Yeah. Shanna's a big fan of that too. She's a big Whopper fan.
In England, there's something they have called Bovril that they have when it's cold, and it's literally just it's soup, but they drink it, and it's kind of like bouillon, I guess. I only know about it because I consume a ton of British like content, but I thought like that might be kind of nice actually because it's, you know, salty. It's kind of like a meal too,
right?
And I like broth.
What's your favorite soup ever?
Oh Lord.
I have a dark one and a light one.
I was just about to say, like, there's different kinds of soups, and then there's, you know, is it a soup or a stew? What's yours?
Well, chili, which is technically a soup. I really like chili. But chicken tortilla soup is probably my favorite.
My cousin Tracy makes that, and hers is the only version I've ever tried. I've been around it before, but like at buffets they'll have it, but I've never tried it.
The Chi-Chi's, I don't know if you remember the restaurant Chi-Chi's. They had the best chicken tortilla soup in the world. It was a chain, like a faux Mexican, like Mexicana kind of food. But they would bring you a bowl and there would be like a pile of chicken and chilies and cheese in the middle of the bowl. And then they bring you a little container, a little pouring bottle of hot soup, and you would pour it over it and everything would melt. And it was phenomenal.
Oh, that sounds like exquisite.
Yes, I miss it every day.
Mm.
It's one of those things they can't have it anymore, so you think about it all the time.
I'm a big fan of like Japanese soups, like ramen or Vietnamese soup, like pho.
I've never tried it.
You know, you live, well, I don't know how far, because you're north of BG. This would be west over in, what's the name of that town right next to the west? It starts with a P.
Rossford? Perrysburg?
Harrisburg. There's a place there called Bangkok Kitchen that has pretty delicious. It's a little more Pan-Asian than purely Thai. Like it has a selection of various Asian things. It even has some like subcontinental things like curry, like Indian things. But they have a really good selection of soups there that, you know, you can't really go wrong with. But yeah, I mean, if you ever get over there, I never had anything there that I didn't like love.
The problem is my wife is the pickiest eater that has ever been born. Like, I think she has that ARFID. She has at least some variation of it because she eats the same. So we order Mexican food a lot because it's like right behind our house and they'll have tacos here in 20 minutes and it's fabulous. But we've always been a Mexican restaurant going couple. And in the 1,000 times that we've probably been to a Mexican restaurant in the last 22 years, she has ordered something not chicken nachos like twice. And I'm not exaggerating. She orders the exact, and it's chicken, cheese, and tomatoes. And that's all she eats. We go to Taco Bell, she gets a Mexican pizza, and she gets 2 crunchy tacos, you know, and she's happy with that kind of diet. She doesn't, if we get Chinese food, she gets a bowl of soup. She gets the egg drop, not the egg drop, the wonton soup. And she eats the chicken from the sweet and sour. No rice, no potatoes, no crab rangoon, no noodles, no anything. And so it's kind of a waste to take her to those kind of places because she won't eat in them. I need a friend that will go with me.
Yeah, you do. You need a food date friend. Because yeah, I mean, you don't want to push somebody to do something that's uncomfortable just so you can try something else.
We had a gift card to Olive Garden one time that we got for Christmas or something. Because she has a real problem wasting money on food. And that's the other thing. She doesn't want to waste some money and then not like it. We grew up poor, you know, and so we went to Olive Garden. We weren't wasting any money. You know, we had plenty on the gift card to cover it. And she tried some kind of butter chicken or whatever it was. And she was so anxious about it that she threw up.
Anxious that she wouldn't like it?
Yeah. Or that it would taste funny in her mouth or have a weird mouthfeel or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's for sure anxiety there.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what we deal with anytime we try to try something new. Though she surprises me sometimes. Like we went to the spaghetti warehouse and she tried the rigatoni there and really liked it. She got it without the ricotta, but
well, and I didn't live with Eric, but we spent pretty much every second together the whole time I lived out there, and we lived across the hall from each other, so. You know, our lives were pretty intertwined. And he also, he describes his eating habits. He'll say, I don't like flavor. So for him, and it's not, I don't think he means that he doesn't enjoy certain things. He's basically saying to you, like, the blandest you can make it, subtract something. And that's how I want it. And so everywhere we went, and he had his very specific things that he would eat. You want to go somewhere, if somebody is like that, you want to go somewhere they can depend on having something that they like. And so what we wound up doing was anytime we would get together, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna put in my order at Southside 6, and then on our way to pick mine up, we'll go by Subway, and you can get your disgusting microwaved ham sandwich. Like even Subway, how they actually do their things. Like they are not particularly good at what they do, but they're also just not horrible at it. But even their like boring, kind of gross way of doing things wasn't enough for him. He had this like set of instructions. He would say, yeah, I want you to take the white bread and put just ham and just American cheese on it, and then put it in the microwave, not the toaster. I do not want this. I don't want this to feel like food, basically. And he would instruct them to microwave this thing before they gave it to him. And I was like, that is the grossest thing I've ever seen. As you could tell, even the sandwich artists would be like, okay. And they got to know us, and they just got to where they would stop trying, because they're supposed to ask you, like, okay, what do you want on it? What you want lettuce? What kind of, and he was like, I don't know how to tell. I want nothing on this. I want you to take that processed meat and processed cheese and shitty ass white bread and microwave it and then give it to me.
Hey, when a man has standards, he has standards.
He sent food back before because they put a pickle on the plate. And I know he hated to do it. Like, he wasn't being a dick, because he's always so nice, all right? And like, we agree on this. Like, I won't go out to eat with somebody that treats servers shitty.
Agreed.
And he hated to do it, but he was just like, I physically can't my mouth.
Aww.
It turns into this whole thing then that contributes to anxiety, because then you have to have a full-blown discussion about what the fuck's wrong with you and your food before you place your order, because you don't want to put them through the aftermath of getting it slightly wrong.
Yep. I hear you. One thing that Shannon does surprise me sometimes. There's some things that she likes that I don't like pickles. I am not a pickle fan in any way. If it comes on the plate, I can deal with that, but I'm not a big fan of it. But I have my taste buds are changing. Like at McDonald's, my whole life I've been a plain cheeseburger kind of girl. I put French fries on my cheeseburger at McDonald's. It makes it delicious. And sometimes you'll order them plain and they'll come with all the stuff on it anyway, so you got to wipe it off. And that happened, and I ate it, and it was delicious. And I was like, what the hell? So now I like ketchup on my cheeseburger.
I remember, like, growing up, there was some, I don't think I have anything like that at all. Like, I'm pretty adventurous with food, and I'll try pretty much anything. But I may have only been able to become that way because of the way our mom would treat us about food, because she was like, I can't throw this out and make you something different. If you don't like this, this is your meal until tomorrow. And when you're a kid, and like, I just remember being hungry all the time. And it is not because we didn't have food necessarily. We always had food, but there were so many weird rules around food because it was hard to get and it was precious. And also we grew to be pretty big and quickly. Like once I started growing, I didn't stop for a very long time. I was underweight for most of my childhood, which my mom loved because she wanted skinny kids. But like, so the threat of not getting dinner was really scary. The way you can be hungry as a kid versus an adult is totally different. Like, this panic sets in and you're like, I'm never going to see food again. And the way it like physically hurts your stomach when you're a kid, because you're just burning through that, all of that energy in your metabolism is so fast. And I would like throw up like stomach acid and stuff. Yeah. When I would get so hungry. So there was so many textures I hated. Couldn't stand the textures of various things like peas, any of those awful canned vegetables we had to eat. But I had to eat them because it was kind of all we had. So now I can tolerate weird things better than I think I would have been able to if we'd had some more options.
My mom was the opposite. She had like 6 recipes on rotation, and then we ordered out every other night. So,
well, you lived near things though, you know?
Yeah.
You like, there was a Hardee's in Jellicoe, and that was it. Like the little the market there was a market in town, but it wasn't a Kroger. It wasn't something like that. I don't know if people know what grocery stores used to be like.
Right.
What they had. And what was on special that week was usually what most people had for dinner.
Right.
If anybody follows us on Facebook, I put up a video this week of the old Charles Kuralt on the road. He did this feature on CBS all throughout I think he started in the late 50s and up until basically his death. He would just travel around America and try to show different ways of living. Like, the whole point of this series was basically like, America's a very diverse place. It's such an interesting show. A lot of these are on YouTube. But he went to Appalachia several times. But in 1964, I believe it was. He went to Appalachia, went to Letcher County, Kentucky for Christmas. And boy, is that eye-opening.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a half-hour long special. The one thing that really, there were two things that really struck me. Because Letcher County was one of the poorest counties in Kentucky, and this was after the breakup of the big company towns. So basically, the people in the 60s who were living, this was like the Cold Wars. This was abject poverty. This was as poor as it got in the country. And just the way that people were talking about what Christmas means at this time period. And he asked this one woman, he said, does Christmas have a religious meaning for you all still? And the way that she didn't feel any political pressure, she wasn't subject to what we now live with in terms of like whether we're allowed to tell the truth about how we feel about religion, this or that. She said, I don't know. Because on the one hand, these stories we tell ourselves every Sunday would seem to indicate that if one is good, then one should reap rewards. But on the other hand, I'm looking at my neighbor up the hill that has a meal. And for us, like she said, Christmas is literally no different than the day before or the day after for us. And then there was another family that they were too poor to go to school, which really got me. Not because school cost anything, but because they didn't have clothes to wear. And they showed these kids and they were like one was wearing a coat as a shirt. And they were big holes out of the sides. And it was wintertime, and this child was freezing wearing this outfit. He was like, yeah, I feel like my kids are smart and they would do great in school, but they can't go because they literally don't have anything to wear. And you can't clothes aren't going to fall from the sky.
That's how my grandma was. She had to drop out of school at 6th grade because she had to go like sell eggs and do everything she could to help make money because she was the oldest in her family.
Right. Yeah. I don't know about my mom's parents, but I know that my dad's parents went up until 6th grade. So they learned to read and write, basically, and they learned how to do math and stuff. But they had those skills, and that was enough. And then they had to go and start making money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. I would like to know more about how the rest of the country perceived those kinds of things when they aired on TV. Like, what did they think? Because that would have been the first time they really knew about what life was like in Appalachia after the collapse of the coal company system. There's another section where he goes on a walk with a guy through where the town had been, and he describes all the stores and businesses and the life that had been there back when some of the wealth from what was produced from the mines actually got to stay in Appalachia for a time before the company system was set up and all of it began to be exported out. So he was like, yeah, over here was our soda pop fountain and it'd be open past midnight. And over here was town hall where we would have dances. And over here was a store where you could get anything you wanted. And it was all just, it was like maybe 20 years for this to fall down. And all these buildings were just standing empty. It was really fascinating. I'll put the link to that video in the show notes here if anybody wants to check it out. It was like both fascinating and it feels important to pay attention to those kinds of things, but I also was pretty upset by the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, 64, that was 15 years. Wait, hang on, I'm trying to do math now. No, that was 15 years before I was born. So sometimes I'll tell people like, yeah, I grew up in the 80s in Appalachia, which is the 60s to anybody else, because
right.
Time stopped.
Mark Twain has a famous quote where he said that he hopes when he dies, he's in Cincinnati because everything happens there 20 years later. And I feel like that's the same for all of Appalachia.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, because in the pictures, if you look at, photos of when I grew up, and I don't know if it's the same for you, you would not be able to place that as the 1980s from these photos because nothing in it's new. We're all dressed like it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think about the way my mom dressed me and the way that they dress these kids today, and it's like, whoa.
It's even style. Like we honestly, to us, we were like, yeah, man, this is the height of style and cool. We did not know that we were 20 years behind the times. People were French rolling their pants I actually don't know when was that actually cool. When was listeners? Let us know if you French rolled your pants and when that was. I'm gonna Google it right now. Even the magazines and stuff we had was old. When was French rolling cool? Late 1980s. Yeah, that was still very much happening in the late 90s
Yeah, for sure.
where I lived. Did you ever wear your clothes backwards like crisscross?
No, not
Oh,
on
man.
purpose anyway.
I did, but you know what? It was actually, clothes aren't made to fit that way. It was really uncomfortable.
I do have a story. One time, it was after bingo. I'd worked bingo, and I stopped at an ATM to get some money afterwards. And so I changed my shirt in the drive-through, and I didn't realize that it was in front of an ATM camera. It like didn't even cross my mind. So I had changed my shirt, and because when back then smoking was allowed, and you smelled like bingo funk when you came out of there.
Oh, yeah.
So I changed and I went into this little grocery store. It was a Big Bear. And I went through the line and the lady kind of looked at me weird. And I was like, okay. And when I got outside, I realized my shirt was not only on inside out, but backwards as well.
It's always like, it's really a gotcha whenever you manage both of them and still somebody else has to point it out. I remember working at Pizza Hut and they allowed smoking inside. And that's like, you would leave, even without smoking in the picture, you smell like shit when you left working at a shift at Pizza Hut.
Right.
That is the greasiest pizza in existence. And it gets in the air. Like it won't wash out of your clothes, won't wash out of your uniform. But then adding smoking on top of it, smoking and grease, it's just
Yep. We would have 200 people in one room smoking their hearts out. Gambling. And I'd be sitting, 4 feet above them on my little stage, right above the haze.
I walked down to the not grocery store, post office, which goes past the only restaurant that I know of in existence here. And it's the one that it's got the times listed on the door. It just says open to close. Like those are its hours. But they had put a little placard out front, whiteboard, and written on it, music bingo at 8 p.m. And I wondered, like, is music bingo a kind of bingo, or did they mean like music and bingo? Like, is the bingo music themed, or were there going to be music and also playing bingo? Neither one of those sounds possible.
Right? Because you got to be able to hear the caller.
But what would music bingo be?
Maybe you get up and change packs with other people, like musical chairs.
The more I thought about it, the more I was like, this could be some like genius marketing, because I'm still thinking about this when I got home like 20 minutes later.
There's a bingo hall here in Toledo. It's north of Toledo. That they share a wall with a Mexican restaurant. And when you're playing bingo, you could hear the through the wall while you're trying. Maybe that's what they mean.
Maybe, I don't know. Because they're both happening at 8 p.m. So
right.
I did consider walking back over, but like, I'm too scared to. This is a dumb thing to be scared of, right? Because nobody's looking at you, but I still just hate to walk into a strange place, because that's actually not true. They are looking at you here. If you walk in somewhere by yourself alone and they don't know who you are, nobody ever stops looking at you. You're the going concern from the second you walk in to the second you leave. Because I did try once to go in somewhere here. Granted, everybody was drunk, so they were probably staring more than they would have if they had been sober.
True.
Because the other thing they have here is a bar. And it was the only thing. So the very first night I moved here, I didn't have anything to eat. And then I realized, I was like, oh, fuck, there's nothing here. And the next day it was a Saturday. So the next day was Sunday. I was like, I'm not going to eat for days. So I was like, I had driven past this little bar here, and it says that they had food, like, pizzas and burgers and things. But nobody picks up the phone here. Because I was calling, I was like going to try to like, hey, can I place an order? Nope, they do not do that. Even if they did pick up the phone, no, they don't do that. So I just like walked down. I was like, fuck, I could tell they're open. I can hear them from here. I know they're open. So I walked down there, and it was like being in a movie. Like, everybody stopped and looked at me. which I think they do for everybody. The door opened, so everybody looks, and they didn't recognize me, and so they just never stopped staring. And I was like, this is god awful. I don't know if I can do this. And so I was sitting there, and I think they were trying to include me, so they kept trying to buy me beers and stuff. And I was like, I don't drink. Please, God, just don't ask me how I got here. Just give me my goddamn burger and let me out. So I haven't gone back. I know I'm the weirdo for not drinking, but whatever.
I don't drink either.
I think fewer people would if it wasn't such a... You just about have to sometimes to get any kind of social life.
Yeah, it is a social lubricant.
Yeah, exactly. I really think we would like it less if there were other methods of hanging out with people.
I think weed will become that as they get lounges and things like that started, but it's the same idea.
I mean, it might be slightly better for you.
I hope for at least queer people that we get some sort of space, like a third space, where we could have, conversations and that kind of thing that isn't a bar. I think that's why alcoholism is such a drain on the LGBTQ community, because that's where you go to meet your people.
Here's what I'm thinking. You know how, like, there are those sports centers, like a Googleplex or whatever, that have various activities inside them, like Dave & Buster's. There's several of them there in Lexington that we used to have events at when I worked in admissions. Let's make a queer one. Sort of like the bar complex in Lexington. It's got 5 different bars in it. But instead of bars, it's different sober activities. I don't know what they would be, though. Because some of them maybe could be like batting cages or something that has like that kind of stuff in it. Batting cages or golf driving range or bowling or something. The usual stuff, but no alcohol. And then others, like, that can be how they make money, right? Like you charge per game or something like that. The other places could be something like a library or a place to chill where you don't have to spend money necessarily in order to be there. Because we're still fighting against this like economic engine of the bar.
Right.
A third space costs money. It could be a range of how much, depending on what kind of space it is and what you're trying to pull off. But alcohol is a way people cover that cost a lot of times because it's so cheap to get and you can mark it up so much. Because I've worked in a bar. I know they're just buying the $13 30-pack of Miller High Life and then selling it to you for $3 a can.
Right.
So it's hard to think what you'd do different. Maybe just a suggestion donation box.
Or just have like a donut bar. But then you wouldn't have any gay guys because none of them want to be fat. So.
Donut bar's a really good idea, though. Because everywhere you go has, alternatives, right? Because, there might be vegans too, and I think they can't always eat donuts. I'm not sure, not 100%. So, you could diversify it to have an offering for everybody. But yeah, I'd give $2 to have a donut and coffee and sit around with people who are also having a donut and coffee.
Yeah, me too.
Like, social lubricant doesn't have to mean intoxicated. We'll have our queer necks social Googleplex.
And library.
And library, of course. Especially because they're trying to take all the queer shit out of libraries.
I've been working on my dissertation quite a bit, and speaking of libraries, I was looking at my list of citations that I already have, and it's over 200 citations just before I even start writing. There's so much to be read.
I still couldn't tell you if everything in my works cited actually appeared in the document anywhere.
Right.
I made an effort as often as I could to be like, okay, is this actually appearing somewhere? But because I was the same way, like I had stopped and started writing so many times. By the time it went to finishing it, I was just putting stuff in that relevant to what I was talking about just then. It doesn't matter. Nobody cared. Nobody asked me about it. So fuck it.
Right.
So have you had any more meetings with TMK about narrowing down topic and all that?
No. I think he was leaving that to me because, yeah. So, and I basically have been working on an outline for a chapter, and I'm going to go from there. And then I have several pages written. I'm going to just write and see what he thinks of it. Because the last time I turned something in, he said it was terrific. So there's that. and when I took theory with him, I could not get that man to give me an A on any of my papers. I got a B on like everything. And then towards the end of the semester, I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to write what I think. And I like just free wrote and I got A's on the last 2 papers.
Yep.
So I need to just let go and trust myself.
That really is what they're looking for a lot of times is like that moment when you start to trust yourself with the material.
Yeah.
That's what my chair also said. She was like, the day that you like stopped pretending that this other topic that you thought sounded really smart was actually interesting to you and like trusted yourself that you were interested in this other thing because there was something to it. Because that really is it. Like you're interested in something, you can't stop thinking about the certain topic or obsessing about this particular thing because you see something in it. And so just like trusting yourself after that point is when it just starts to roll.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get there. My goal is 40 pages over winter break. And I know I can do that because I used to pop out 25 in a weekend, you know, for semester papers and shit. So I know I can do this. I feel like I've been in the pre-writing mode for so long. I've been telling myself, just do the reading, just do the reading, just do the reading, and you'll get to it. And now I feel like I have so much in my head that it's all kind of jumbled.
Yeah.
And I just have to get everything in that I have in there out. There's plenty in there. I just have to figure out how to get it out and how to frame it.
Yeah, it feels like a kind of a traffic jam because you're like, well, now I know all of this shit. Where does it go? And
right.
I know it fits together, but how do I turn it into something that has any kind of logical flow to it? If you can make an outline work, like this goes for anybody who has a lot of writing to do. If you can do that, the outline is your best friend. I made a bunch of different ones over the course of it. It looked different every time I do it. I have one notebook that's just filled with all of the outlines I made over and over and over again. I also used notebooks, like handwriting things, a lot more than I did hardly do any drafting on the computer. It was mostly all of that planning stuff was done on paper, so I could flip back and compare it.
Right.
And I'm too ADHD to have multiple copies of a document. I got into that when I was doing all those edits for upload, and I was like, oh my God, which version is this? I almost got into serious trouble with not being able to keep the different versions straight. They emailed again saying there's always something else because they're doing, what do they call it? Clearing for graduation, evaluating all the things. And Becca hadn't assigned me a grade for dissertation hours. So like they emailed and they're like, what's the grade on these? Because right now it's all IP or in progress. And she just replied and said it's all S. And I was like, I think they want you to fill out. I think there's a document. There's almost always a document. Like, please God, don't fuck this up for me.
My grad rep died last week.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The bastard one?
No. They got it switched over to a different guy.
You got a new grad rep and they died?
Yeah.
Dude. Did you know him? Who was it?
No, I'd heard his name, Lubomir. It was a foreign name, and I'm not good with things like that. I can tell you. Hang on. I got an email from that office saying that's how I found out. Was they said that I need to get a new grad rep, and it was like, geez, give the man a day, you know?
Oh my God. I mean, do you think it was natural causes or?
He was fairly young.
Oh no. That sucks.
Yeah. Come on now. Just wait on this to load.
I'm going to die laughing if it's nothing close to Lubomir.
It's something like that. Come on. Popov.
Popov, okay. So that sounds Slavic or...
All I know about Popov is the name of the cheap vodka.
Yeah.
Lubomir, Lubomir. Popov.
Wow, you were right. Well, R.I.P. Lubomir.
Yeah. He was a style and fashion enthusiast.
What is it with... My Aunt Jan wrote that in my Aunt Josie's obituary. Not the elegy, the obituary, the thing that goes in the paper.
That's hilarious. He completed 2 doctoral degrees, a PhD in sociology and a PhD in architecture. Jeez.
Wow. Smart dude.
Interior design.
Well, it sounds like he made the most of life.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Are they going to do this for you automatically? Because you don't get to choose, right?
No, Becca figured it out last time, so I'm figuring she'll do it this time.
I think it's a random assignment.
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I got lucky. I mean, we both know, and I think you even have a horror story about grad reps who derailed projects, and
Yeah.
I got lucky. Like my dude he fully understood his assignment, right? He was like, well, I mean, I'm here just to make sure that your rights are respected, and this process is equitable. But even after my defense, he was like, but I teaches in media. He said what, and I forget, but he was like, I'm going to steal that model that you talked about for spectatorship. Because I was trying to talk about, I created a model to describe the specific positionality of the spectator to particular signifying screen or image or something like that. And he was like, that's a pretty, that's a clear way to describe that. I'm going to start using that. I was like, well, cite me.
That's awesome. Yeah, my guy came in and basically tried to fail me. Like, I'm pretty sure he tried to fail me in my prelims and was mad about my prospectus, and he just was not a nice guy whatsoever. And he was in speech pathology.
What is with, I mean, I know that they're required to do service, but where would you get it in your head that it's in your business what the content of the study is, and that you have any idea what they're talking about? Because you're almost assured to be assigned a project that's not in your field as a grad rep.
But at least he's gone, so whoever I get hopefully will be better.
Yeah, I'm glad they replaced that guy, which may be what they want sometimes.
Right.
Although I can't figure, because it's not like it lets you off the hook for service. I was out for 6 years, and my poor dude was still on the hook for my project.
Yeah, he would have been. When I re-enrolled and everything, I had the same committee, and then Becca helped me figure out how to get the different grad rep. It was done, and I filled out a form, and it was done. So the Y is an amazing Becca.
I hope she makes a shitload of money.
Me too. She deserves it. Speaking of all that, I got my evaluations back for this semester.
You said you pissed somebody off?
Yeah. One kid I got real pissed. 92% of my class thinks that I'm an excellent professor, and one person thinks that I'm terrible, right? And then that makes me laugh every time. But their comments, it'll be one comment, it'll say, I show too many videos. And the very next comment will be, love the videos, play more of them. It goes back and forth.
Yeah.
But one person, the one that made me laugh was from women's studies. They said that they wished I had given them more time on their paper. It was due on the last day of classes, and it was open the first day of classes.
Right.
So they literally had the entire semester to work on this paper that I talked about several times. They wanted me to just make more time up, and nobody wants more time in the semester. Nobody wants that.
Right. Exactly. You wish the semester was longer? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. How could I have possibly? And I even gave them a 2-day extension. Because usually I have everything due on Sunday at 11:59 p.m., right? Because it's just uniform. It makes it easy for weeks. So their final paper, I usually make due on Wednesday just to give them a couple of extra days instead of the Sunday before. And this time I gave them 2 more days till Friday. So I even gave them an extension. They had 5 days more than I usually give them. And it still wasn't enough. And one person said they were upset that the class aligned so much with the Democratic Party. When I start the class, one of the things I say is, number one, you don't have to agree with anything that I say all semester.
Well,
number two, you can be a conservative. And number three, I tell you up front that there's a liberal bias to all of this. That's just the fabric of the material.
Well, and they're babies. They don't know.
Yeah.
It is not women's studies' fault that the Democratic Party is the one that took up their causes as platforms, right?
Yeah.
I know that you're a little, mushy prefrontal, not fully formed brain is going to struggle with this, but things came before you, and they didn't come in any particular order, and they are not aligned for your convenience. They kill me with that shit. Of 60 years ago, this would have been the Republican Party.
And then you get them that she's a wonderful professor, don't change a thing, and then you've got change everything, burn it down.
I have to be honest, I stopped reading my evals not very long into teaching. I just didn't fucking care.
I can't help it. I want to see what they say.
Well, and you should read them, because they take the time to fill them out. They're trying to tell you about yourself. They're trying to give you, I guess, insight to become a better professor and to continue to improve. But what I was teaching was writing. I was teaching writing at a time when we had stopped really teaching it in high school. So they were coming to me not knowing a goddamn thing about writing. And I had this Herculean task of 16 weeks, taking them from not knowing what a 5-paragraph essay and a thesis statement was into somebody who could write a research paper for biology without me there to hold their hand. And I knew that it didn't matter what the fuck they had to say about my teaching because they didn't know what they were talking about.
Right.
So I stopped reading them. Because after you can only like just sit there and get played in your face for so long. And I was like, y'all are angry at me. I mean, I just can't let y'all take this out on me to this degree.
I held firm and gave a girl a 0 on her paper because she used AI. It was so obvious that she had used AI. Like, if you play around with ChatGPT at all, you realize there's a format to the way that it works.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and it bolds random words and
italicize
and formats things and lists and like lists it loves.
The rhetorical questions.
And this girl, so I gave her a 0 and she wrote me back. She was like, I only used Grammarly for this. And I was like, bullshit. You have like graduate level headings in this thing. And, teach me. If you could write this well, teach me. Because I can't write this well,
Yeah.
And she finally caved in and I gave her a 0 on it. And then she took my boss has told me that I cannot do online exams, something to do with the amount of contact hours. And we have to have as many contact hours as possible, where we went to 15-week semesters. Right. So, okay, whatever they tell me to do, that's what I'm going to do. But I can still do them online. I don't have to do them in paper. We just have to take the online exam in person. Right. So we have our assigned exam schedule, and I have people that have accommodation. So they take it at a different time over in the learning center. And so I had the exam open, and this same girl, not in class, just took the exam at a different time, not when the scheduled exam was. And she could have cheated. She could have had anything open. She could have had her notes open. She could have done anything. And she finished the exam in 19 minutes. Everybody else was taking like 45 minutes. And you can look at the log, and it shows where they go off the page, right? And so I took 20% off of her grade for doing that. And she ended up with a C, which was me rounding up. So I really gave that girl some grace. But how do you mess up that bad twice at the end of the semester?
They don't have a lot of information literacy. So they really don't know that they're practically keystroked. Like, down to what tabs you open. If you click on or off of a screen, we know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Proctoring, if an essay is proctored, it shows us what you Googled. There was this one, I saw a TikTok of someone sharing the proctor screen of a student that had Googled, how do I take this test?
Wow.
Multiple times. They tried to rephrase it. How do I take this open notes test without notes? What do I do if I don't have notes for the open note test? That's it. You're doing it right now. That's pretty much all you can do. Frantically Google. And maybe have a moment where you think, do I have anybody but myself to blame for this shit? Did perhaps my only ally in this, I wish they knew we were their allies.
Yeah.
Was there a moment where a trusted authority figure stood in front of me and painstakingly explained what was going to be asked of me for the rest of the next 15 weeks of my life, point by point, and how to be successful? I don't know if we're ever going to reach a point where they see us that way. I don't know.
Yeah. I think some of them do.
Yeah.
Being back on main campus teaching is really refreshing compared to being on the other program that I was in.
Yeah, I bet. I was actually thinking about, not that exactly, but I worked with a lot of programs like pre-college programs, dual enrollment, or like bridge programs for first generation college students or students living in poverty in Eastern Kentucky. and you're fighting multiple battles with them because you're trying to either get or keep them interested in higher education, which means trying to help them feel, like they belong, while at the same time challenging their entire worldview, at regular intervals.
And you're competing with their real lives and their jobs and their relationships and all of those things too.
Yeah. Like in, the specific messaging that they're getting from their environment is going to be, you're asking them to take that with a grain of salt and give me a chance, but you see me once a week or something. Like,
Yeah.
you want a 17, 18-year-old to be able to do that. Like, I'm fully aware of the fact that I wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, I was not prepared for college the first time I went at all. Like the social requirements and all that stuff. I went 5 semesters and passed like 3 classes and got kicked out of school.
This is another thought I had, I think just this morning. Do you think that you would have chosen a certain major? Like, I really feel like I would have done something more lucrative, but I don't know for sure. It's because obviously we can't actually go back and ask ourselves that question. But I felt paralyzed by having to choose a major at all, because they were all things I'd never heard of. They were all things I'd never been asked to even picture myself as having the ability to do before. Have you since reflected on what you might have chosen if you had some pre-existing knowledge on what to choose for a major?
Yeah, I've thought about that a lot. I probably would have gone into psychology or something like that. Something where you have a real future. Because the path that we've taken, like it's kind of a pyramid scheme, you learn it to teach it to other people. And what can I do outside of being a professor? There's not a lot of roads open. Like there are some things you can do, librarianship and some other things like that, but not a lot of people are looking for cultural scholars to hire.
No, not as such.
My cousin is way high up in a really big financial corporation. And he was going to help me get a job before I got hired on to be a professor. And I sent him my resume and he sent it to HR and they were like, we just don't have anything that fits her education. Like, so I had like somebody hand picking me saying, give this person a job, and they couldn't match me up with something.
Yeah.
So that's not, I love my job is what I'm saying.
Right. And we're, it sucks when you have moments where you're like, I don't know what's coming next. Like, especially, I mean, for me right now, like, assuming the motherfucker keeps kicking along, we've got 3 more years of this, whatever, at best, I really feel like he's going to die before that's over, but
we can hope.
Yeah. I mean, I think he deserves worse than what he's going to get, but that doesn't do anything to the damage. And what is going to continue to happen to attacks on DEI and higher education? It's already to the point that I can't even talk about what I do. No wonder my body's falling apart. But I don't know. We've done enough bitching. Maybe let's hear from this week's sponsor. Because I've been cold this week, it's been -2 degrees and windy as fuck over here. This week's episode of Queer Next is brought to you by the pot-bellied coal stove in the center of the house. This is the Appalachian HVAC and the undisputed emotional nucleus of the home. This stove doesn't sit politely against a wall. It parks right in the middle of the central room and commands an orbit. Furniture is arranged around it like pews around a pulpit. Socks are draped nearby like offerings. Children, cats, and at least one uncle who just needs to warm up a minute are pulled into its gravitational field every winter. The pot-bellied coal stove runs hot and serious. It hums and pops and throws off heat that feels personal. It's like it knows your name and your business. Its only settings are off and ruinously hot. And heaven help you if you forget the screen, because this stove has baptized more knuckles and knees than any church in the county. The specialized cooking implements hung right above it on a chained iron frame hanging from the rafters. After dinner, the popcorn iron will be heated, doused in salt and fat, filled with clattery corn pellets before thrust inside to steam the treats awake like some slumbering dragon's horde. And oh, the comfort, the way the whole house breathes differently when it's lit. The way life feels livable and the day feels doable when the frosty breath of winter is pushed back outside where it belongs. This stove has raised generations. It has seen homework, breakups, and injuries abound. Old-timers lean back like they trusted it, kids inch closer, learning the true meaning of boundaries. Visitors learned fast, and everyone learned respect. So here's to that pot-bellied coal stove, the keeper of warmth, scars, stories, and survival. The heart of the house beating in iron. And if you weren't warned, you weren't listening. That's something we never actually did have in the because we lived in the trailers, but a lot of the houses we hung out in had either wood burning or coal stove. Well, you could burn anything in a pot-bellied stove.
Yeah. My grandparents had a big fireplace in the middle of their living room with those same implements and the same idea, but they just turned it into a fireplace.
Yeah.
It was always my favorite room.
You had to have a more like housey arrangement, like brick walls and a chimney and stuff to be able to go full fireplace. The pot-bellied stove was kind of a godsend for those clapboard or linoleum houses that people had in the coal country. I think there used to be a chimney in this house I have here because it's boarded. It's not boarded up. It's closed up down in the basement, but I don't know where the fireplace would have been or if there was one.
Right.
Probably down there. I loved the smell of burning wood.
Oh, yeah.
Just glorious smell.
Yeah, I agree. Mom always bought these. It was some kind of sprinkle. It was some kind of chemical in a cardboard tube that would cause colors in the fire. She always had those. I loved those things.
Yeah, I think those were just metals like phosphorus and stuff.
Yeah.
And we would burn like pop cans or garbage and certain dyes or paints. Certain things would burn wild colors.
That's one thing I do miss. And someday I'll have my own fireplace.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we had one when we moved back to Mom's, but I don't know the last time it had been cleaned. So we didn't use it even once.
Yeah. Somebody in that trailer I had down in Kentucky, somebody had retrofitted a propane furnace on it, which was kind of nice. It was nice to run that sometimes, but it didn't heat very well. I was like, this is in a stupid location.
That's what Mom's was too.
It's kind of decorative.
Yeah, and the thing, the company that did the gas, the propane, if your name was not on the deed for the property, they wouldn't give you credit, which is the craziest thing I've ever heard. And so my name was not on the deed yet, so I had to pay up front. So every time you got gas, it was like $600.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then we ran out in the middle of a cold snap. Oh, that sucked. We couldn't get gas for like 3 days.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, this house I got here is propane heated. And
do you have a big tank?
Yeah, gigantic tank out back. It's 1,000 gallons. And I mean, I know it currently it's running $1.69 a gallon. So to fill that thing up, it's
$2,000.
Yeah. So
plus, because you got the delivery fees and all that kind of stuff to go with it.
Yeah. So I'm thankful for the high efficiency furnace, but I don't know, maybe it all equals out. But $2,000 a year versus it like the HVAC system I had on that trailer, and heating a trailer is so inefficient. It was $200 something a month for the electric to heat the house. So
yeah. That's one great thing about living in this apartment. We're in the bottom floor, so all the heat kind of stays here. It doesn't rise too far, and the cold doesn't get in here very much. It's expensive to live here, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The utilities aren't bad, but the rent itself, and it went up over $100 from year to year. When we re-signed the lease, it went up over $100.
I saw somebody saying that you're allowed to negotiate that. Like if they tell you like we're raising the rent up to this, that you can call and be like, I can't do that. What about this? And they you have the right to do that.
That's good to know. The way they do things here. So I guess they looked at my when we re-signed the lease and I forgot to initial one place. So they put $150 charge on my account for going month to month because I didn't have a lease in place. And they wouldn't take it off until I came into the office and initialed that paperwork. Is that not the craziest thing that you've heard of?
I mean, yeah, but it's not shocking. I mean, if I were to rank all the dumbest, most surprising, stupid shit I've ever heard, a good 40% of it, the top 10 would be landlords doing dumb shit.
Right.
Just because they can.
Yeah.
I mean, home ownership is a pain in the ass, and it's gate kept, and it can take a lot to set up. But in comparison to something like renting, especially being like under the thumb of just a really corrupt system in some places, it's no contest. The rental landscape there when we were in grad school there in BG was obnoxious. You remember, like, there was a week every year where everyone was homeless
Yeah.
because the leases start August 1st, but they end July 25th.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And I was like, why? Why do y'all do this? Well, so that we're not in competition with one another.
Well, now the thing is, I think it's Greenbrier because they have the most apartments. When it comes time to sign, there's like one day people miss class because they have to line up and like they camp out to get a good place in line and things like that, just to get first come first serve on the
Wow.
apartments. Yeah,
That
no matter what the temperature is, there are people out there camping out, and it's crazy.
Well, yeah, because you're homeless otherwise. Yeah, I managed to get, like, that building we lived in there. It was one of the few that was like exempt from all of that mess, that Greenbrier. It was it was kind of like an old person's home. We were the only people under 40 that lived there,
Oh wow.
and it was affordable. And as soon as I got in there, I was like, I am going nowhere. I'm living here for the rest of my time in BG, and I did. Did you bring a noun of Appalachian interest?
I did. Let me pull that up here. All right. Well, today's noun of Appalachian interest is the holler itself. Spelled like holler, said like holler, not hollow. If you say hollow, the hills can tell. The holler is the real place. It's a narrow stretch of land tucked between hills, sometimes with a creek, a road that barely counts as one, and at least one scruffy old mailbox leaning at a dangerous angle. My holler was called Big Run, which sounds like a marathon, but it was just a creek and 5 miles of houses spanning 6 families, all just doing their best. In a holler, directions are emotional, not logical. You don't use addresses. You say things after the curve, but before the place where the dog used to sit. Everyone understands exactly what you mean. But sound behaves differently in a holler. You can hear a screen door slam from 3 ridges away. If someone starts a 4-wheeler, you won't wonder who it is. You already know. A holler has one road, and that road belongs to everybody. Kids walk it, dogs own it. If 2 cars meet, one of you is pulling over while waving like crazy at the person who is probably your cousin. Privacy exists, but it's informal. You can do whatever you want as long as you don't act surprised when everyone knows about it by supper. Outsiders think a holler is empty. It's not. It's just tucked in. Houses don't show off. People don't either. And everything important happens a little bit out of sight. And when you say you're from a holler, like Big Run, you're saying that you know how to watch, wait, and listen. You know how to belong to a place without trying to own it. That's the holler. Not a hollow, not a shortcut. A place that remembers you even when you move away.
Nice. I used to be so embarrassed about saying holler. You know what? It was forever before I actually knew that holler was supposed to be hollow.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, I saw it on road signs. There's like Crow Holler and Miller's Run and Houston Holler and Candy Run.
Oh, it says hollow on it?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I never noticed that. Although I don't remember seeing road signs. So my mom's parents, they lived in Woodbine Holler. I don't remember ever seeing a road sign that said Woodbine Holler on it. But yeah, I think probably like sometime around when I was in college, I think probably reading, Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
That's a holler.
Yeah.
I had no idea. We technically actually grew up in a trailer park, so we weren't in a holler. We moved up to the mountainside, so that's not a holler either.
I moved to Big Run when I was 12 or 13. I think it was right before my 13th birthday. But it'd always be Big Run for me. I'm a big runner. And that entire road is all the people that have my last name and like the 3 families that we're related to. Because, my family tree is more like a 2x4 than any kind of branching apparatus there. But hey, I was adopted into it. So but on the other hand, my biological father and my adopted father are cousins. So I'm my own cousin on paper.
Well, what are you doing for New Year's?
Staying home and enjoying my rent.
Right. I don't have any plans, obviously, although I might be able to drive by then, not sure. But I was thinking, should we have a New Year's party?
I'm in.
A Queer Next New Year's party?
I'm in. I don't know if Shannon will have to work. I don't know what that will look like for her, but I'll
Yeah.
be here because school doesn't start until the 12th. Well, I took on another SNHU class, but because for reasons, but that should be okay. That starts January 5th. I've already got my class set up and all that for that. So
Hmm.
I really missed the income when we didn't have it.
Yeah,
So.
it's hard. Well, all right. We'll start to think about what that might look like.
Okay. If we have any suggestions from our listeners, please let us know.
Yeah.
What's a good New Year's movie?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
There's The Cutting Edge has the New Year's scene. Have you ever seen The Cutting Edge? I know you have.
I don't know.
It's an ice skating movie from
Oh my
the
God.
90s.
From 92.
I've seen that movie maybe a million times.
Is that DB Sweeney? Oh my God, I haven't seen
Yeah.
him forever.
Yeah, he plays a hockey player turned skate person. But there's a New Year's Eve scene in that movie. So
Yeah.
Topic is a famous line from that movie.
I'll look up what New Year's movies there are. And then yeah, we'll go from there. And we should. I know we narrowed down the movie to review for you to Tucker and Dale versus Evil and Jennifer's Body. But I don't think we chose. So I might just put a poll up and we go with, or do you have you decided since then?
No, I'm up for whatever. Though I think Jennifer's Body would probably be easier to access, but I'm open to whatever.
For sure. I'll look into that. I'll look into access, like what's available. And then if it's a dead heat, I'll put a poll up online and let people weigh in. You can even do polls on Spotify.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So do that. And then, or if last I looked, Tucker and Dale was kind of hard. I had to buy it to review it for my other show. Which means that we can watch it, but like listeners would have a hard time finding it to watch along. So,
right.
We might choose Jennifer's Body and then come back to Tucker and Dale some other time. Maybe we could do that one live.
Okay.
We could do that one in the Discord.
Sounds good to me.
Which reminds me, we do have a Discord. There's only like 3 people in it, 2 of whom are me and Beck. So if you would like to join that, we can start. It'll be easier for us to have watch parties if we utilize the Discord for nothing else than that. Because we could just throw the link for the watch party in there. Anyway, all of those links are in our the description here. You can join our coffee for $2 and get in that Discord. I might just turn it off and make it free. I was worried. The only reason there's a charge attached to it was because I was afraid that we were going to get Zoom bombed when we went live on YouTube. So I might just take that off of there, and y'all can give us money if you want to. Oh, I haven't been checking very much, but some more people did review us. We have some more 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks to y'all who did that. That helps us out. Also on Spotify. YouTube, I know. So we actually have quite a bit of, I'm not going to say followers on YouTube because it's like 40 something. So, but the like, if y'all listening didn't know this, YouTube has a podcast function, so you don't have to watch videos. You can actually just listen through YouTube's thing, and it makes commenting and replying to comments really easy. So I've been having a whole ass conversation with a couple of folks on our YouTube. So if you don't want to support the Amazons and the Spotifys and such, if YouTube is a lesser evil for you, you can subscribe on there and get notified when the show lands.
I subscribed on YouTube. That way I can listen in my living room.
Yeah, right. As like, cause you can put it on your TV there and then just
clean. I usually walk around and clean when it's on.
Well, Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday if you celebrate. Happy Hanukkah. All the others that are going on right now. I'm not familiar with all the various different holidays, but whichever one you celebrate, more power to you. Any day now, all the big brands are going to be switching to more power to you instead of happy holiday.
We'll just say happy birthday and shit, just in case it's that time.
Just in case. Happy anniversary. Happy quinceañera. Be good or be good at it.
That's it.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next time. Say hi to your mom and them.
Bye.